Yes, guys, welcome back to Chasing Green Arrows. It's Friday and it is absolute chaos in the FPL world. We know game week 24 is a double game week, Liverpool and Everton. We were already thinking about chips like the assistant manager chip, triple captain, blah, blah, blah. Game week 25 double announcement has changed everything. We don't know for sure the teams that will be doubling. We know it will be two from a possible four from a possible eight. Two from a possible four. I can't remember. I've got a graphic to show you. It illustrates everything, but it changes everything because now the assistant manager chip can go from 24 to 25, and you can get four assistant managers, four lots of assistant manager in 2 game weeks, 5 in 3. It's the best chip in the game. You've got to use it this game week. I have no doubt about that. If you've got triple captain active, you can deactivate and you can activate triple captain. I'm joined by regular co-host on a Friday, Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, how are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, I'm good. I haven't been involved in all this. Obviously, I've been asleep. So when it's 6 a.m. start for me, you don't have to get caught up in all of this. So I'm just waiting to hear your analysis of it all, mate. See what Big Man makes of it as he loads up. And yeah, I've already made my transfers for this week, so I'm already done. I made 3 transfers, so they can't change. I'm still not convinced about this assistant manager chip. So you're going to have to do some convincing on this one for me, because I remember don't intend to go until late.
Yes. Okay. Well, look, to introduce Big Man, let me just show you a very quick graphic because everyone tuning in might be going, what the hell's going on? They might not have seen too much. And if you're watching on catch up for structure of the show, I just want to show you this graphic. It's one of my tweets just showing who could double in 25. Just going to load that tweet right now. That should be with you any sec. So we know it will be game week 25. Spurs, if they reach the EFL Cup final, remember they are 1-0 up against Liverpool with the second leg still to play, although the bookies still have Liverpool as favourites. It's at Anfield. So let's say that's a 50-50. If Spurs win, then Fulham get a double versus Forest and Spurs get a double versus United and Fulham. That Fulham double is awesome because Forest comes with that table bonus by beating 5 teams above you. And I fancy Fulham at home to Forest. We'll speak more to Dean about Fulham later because they could be central to our chip strategy. And look, if Liverpool win, then you could go from, say, Moyes to Emery, because Emery will have a table bonus in there. He'll have 2 home games versus Ipswich and Liverpool. Or you could go Arne Slot for four games on the bounce for Liverpool, 2 double game weeks on the bounce for Liverpool, potentially, but you do need him to win the EFL Cup or reach the EFL Cup final. Oh, Big Man, what's your initial take from everything we've learned today with regards to assistant manager chip?
Hello, Gianni. Hello, Dean. Hello, welcome to all the listeners viewers. I think this announcement is big and it has changed my perspective. It has basically changed everything. All the content that we've done earlier on in the week has basically gone out the window. It's gone in the bin because this announcement is big. I just think playing the assistant manager chip in game week 24 is obvious. I do think by far Arne Slot is the best manager to use it on. I know you don't agree, Gianni, but I think we can have a debate about it, and I think I will do everything to ensure that I get him in my team. I was planning on triple captaining, but that's not going to happen anymore, and I feel very strongly about the assistant manager chip at the moment.
Oh, wow. Okay, we'll come away from this graphic because we'll have more of a loose discussion. Dean, what do you need to be convinced to use it, knowing the ceiling for this chip is higher than any other, but also there won't be another time in the season, very unlikely, where we'll get back-to-back doubles. I don't think that will happen now. So this is the only time to get 5 games in 3 game weeks.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How do you know that? What makes you so confident that this is the only time that we get this? Because you weren't expecting this 4 hours ago. So why do we not think this will come about again?
So we thought these games would drop into game week 33 because that's a free midweek. But the Premier League have gone, no, let's push it as far forward as we can, just in case stuff comes up later down the line. A snowstorm, the Queen dies, whatever. We've seen stuff for cancellations. Unless one of those freak things happen, we won't get another double game week other than game weeks 33 and 36. They are the only weeks where there's free space in the schedule. I think 37 there is like a very, very, very small chance. But all doubles should now be able to go in 25, 33, or 36. And we know blanks of 29 because of the FL Cup final and FA Cup semi-finals, 34. So, big man, am I right in saying it is a tiny, tiny chance there's another double game week that we don't know about now, knowing we've had this one drop?
There is, but we can only sort of plan for what is in front of us. And to answer Dean's question as to what has changed, the main thing that has changed is that we weren't expecting Liverpool to have two back-to-back doubles. Now that is
But they haven't yet
significant.
because they're not in
That
the
is huge.
final.
Yes, they haven't, but according to expectation, if you look at bookmaker probabilities, there's a 75% chance of it happening. And I would rather play it on the off chance that it should happen, because we should remember that at no point later in the season will we get a double-double for any team. So if you're getting it for a team like Liverpool, might as well take it, especially considering that the system manager chip is the most powerful chip of the season by far as well. I mean, I was planning on playing the triple captain on Salah, but I mentioned time and again that the system manager chip is the most powerful one. Might as well play it at a time where we're getting two double fixtures. I feel so confident about it that I think that if someone has triple Liverpool in their team, like I do, I'm going to sell one of them and I'm going to buy a slot.
Ooh, I can't wait to get into this. This is going to be so fun, guys. Stay tuned for the next 50 minutes because we're going to see all of our teams. And I can't wait to see who Big Man might be selling. I mean, I know who you're going to be selling. You're not selling Trent or Salah. But those that have got Gakpo are faced with a bigger dilemma. You might agree with Big Man's idea of moving to Arne Slot because he's right. You could get the double-double. You might not, by the way. As Dean says, Spurs could qualify. Like the 1-0 up. They've got Romero and Van de Ven probably back fit for that one. I don't know if 75% accuracy from bookmakers odds is accurate with now Van de Ven back and Romero possibly back. That could drop a little bit maybe, but if you own Gakpo, Trent and Salah, who are you selling? Big man, if you were on that triple up, would you still be selling for Slot? Would you get rid of a Gakpo to a Vissa and make space for Slot? Or is it only those that are double defense you think you should sell to get to Slot?
No, I'd sell Gakpo for India.
Whoa.
Yeah, I just think it makes a lot of sense. You've got to prioritize the other game week as well, which is likely to happen. Yes, it might not, but as of now, there's a chance that it might. And if you get the opportunity to play it on the best manager in the team, for the best team in predictable fixtures. I mean, next week, Liverpool have Wolves at home. That's an easy fixture. Aston Villa could be tricky, but I mean, you'd expect Liverpool to win at least 3 out of these 4 games against Bournemouth, Everton, Villa, and at home to Wolves.
Dean, 3 of those 4 games are away from home, away at Villa, if it happens in the double, away at Bournemouth, away at Everton. Do you fancy Liverpool? I mean, they have only lost once this season, but could we get some upsets there?
I mean, this season tells us that what we see on paper isn't what we get on the pitch for the majority of matches. You think of some of the upsets that we've seen from teams like Bournemouth. It's feasible. I mean, Big Man obviously is talking logically and looking at like percentages and statistics, and I can't argue with the fact that he's right. Like, he should be safe here. And in his position, like where he's been on the up and up, this is an unbelievable chance to get the jump on people, because you've got to remember that still in this high rankings at the moment, there are still going to be some, not casuals, but certainly people that aren't as locked in as you two would be. And it is an opportunity to kind of make a mark with your rank and kind of make a statement over this game week or the next 3 game weeks. So I completely understand that. Obviously, I'm quite a stubborn person, so I don't know how I would even go about this, because I've used my transfers. I've got 3 Liverpool players. Like, how do I even get a manager? Like, I honestly don't know at this stage that I mess everything up to do this. So I don't think I personally will do it. But because you guys have been locked into this for the past few hours, I can completely understand. And also, you guys are competing with other content creators, and I've only been up for an hour today, but I can see that they're all doing exactly what Big Man's talking about. Like, I'm just flipping through the big accounts, and this is the big conversation. And they're all talking about Slot as well. Like,
I know. CH
see.
has just said in the chat, Oscar, let's talk FPL. They're all with Big Man. You sell your Liverpool player and you get Slot. I'm so not... God, I'm never aligned with them. That's why my rank's so shit.
But look, at this stage, there's not a right and a wrong. We only find out the right and the wrong in 3 game weeks' time.
Moisey's the right, mate. You've got to back that bonus. It's 10 points.
But that's where it's made interesting, right? That's why this chip livened up the game anyway. But now this surprise bomb, I don't know if they've just changed the fixtures for FPL reasons. You'd like to believe that, right? But this definitely makes the season more interesting. And yeah, I mean, I am tempted to just sit back and see what happens for you guys, but I know that could come to a detrimental loss to me for sure.
Big man, if you go Moyes, you get 2 home fixtures, and then you make a transfer to either Silva if Spurs get to the final, or Emery if Liverpool get to the final. And Silva and Emery both have double game weeks if that happens, and they're both good home. They're both 2 homes. So if you go Moyes to Silva or Moyes to Emery, you get 4 home games on the bounce. The only 2 games in that 4-game stretch for both teams that come with the bonus is beating the best team in Europe.
Precisely. And I don't think it's terrible. I think I mean, I like the idea of using it on Moyes as well. I don't think it's a bad idea. But it's just that, it's more riskier because, yes, the table bonus might come into play, but then you're backing on Everton, beating Liverpool, or Aston Villa defeating Liverpool, which again is a very tricky call to make. That is why I prefer going with the safety of slot, because there you're at least guaranteeing yourself some points, especially with the goals and clean sheets, etc. I think I would personally do that. But let's say if someone was in a position where someone is tripled up on Liverpool, doesn't have any free transfers, like Dean, I would go for Moyes. I generally would, because at least there's a chance that then next week you can jump onto another doubler. But if you're not activating it, then you're missing out on the opportunity of going for the double-double, which is the whole point of activating the system manager chip this week.
What's the elevation on points for you to go on slot? So here's an alternative option. Say you were to stick with the triple captain for this week, and then you wait to find out if Liverpool are even in that final. And then next week you activate the manager. So you're still getting that extra double, but you potentially don't miss out on Salah scoring 3 goals in the coming game week.
Dean, the thing is that even if, let's say, Liverpool lose and Liverpool don't reach the final, then you'd have a double for Fulham and Spurs. So if you activate the system manager chip on someone like Moyes this week, you can then jump to Marco Silva or... Exactly. There will be a guaranteed double in 25. You just don't know which teams there will be.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's why I sort of like the idea of doing it.
Okay. And it will be for 2 teams. We know it will either be for that set of Fulham and...
Okay, so you're not doing this just for slot. It sounded like you were doing it just for slot, but you're not too fussed either way. If it's not slot, you still think it could be adaptable enough.
I mean, I would prefer if Liverpool progress, because my team is heavily reliant on it. But I mean, worst case scenario, even if it doesn't go well,
you'd have sold a good Liverpool player for Wolves at home.
For Wolves at home, yeah. So my team is heavily dependent on it. But let's say if it doesn't unfold as I expect it to, then I can move him on to someone like a Marco Silva. That's fine as well. It's not the end of the world.
I would love Spurs to beat Liverpool to qualify, because then you get Silva, and it's Silva who I want in game week 25. It's not really Emery. I fancy Silva at home to Forest. I think that's a huge opportunity for a table bonus. Probably the best one I've seen in the 3-game week window for a standout fixture. Fulham beating Forest. We saw Bournemouth beat Forest at home. Can Fulham do the same at home? Dean, you weren't impressed by Fulham against United, but again, if we go back to bookmakers' odds, they see that fixture as the one to target for table bonus. They've got Fulham at 47%, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is that, like, as much as I love Fulham, Nottingham Forest are better than us. We've got 2 of our... Obviously, Reece Nelson was already out for a while, but Harry Wilson is now out as well. Means that our lineup is going to be a bit more predictable for Forest to hold in. Fulham's home form is not very good. They've really struggled to break teams down this season over the past couple of months. So I think you can have a degree of hope for sure, but the form isn't really there for Fulham at the moment. And Fulham are much better. I keep saying it. Fulham are much better away from home when they have more space to play into, and teams are under more pressure to play on the front foot, and they leave themselves exposed and holes open up. And then the likes of Iwobi can exploit those. We don't get that sort of space at home because teams are happy to come to Craven Cottage and take a point, and it happens a lot. So, yeah, that's been Fulham's undoing, really. It's been a really good season in terms of the way that they've played football, but they have not really had the kind of season that a Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth have had, just because they've not been able to make the most of the home form and the home possession domination. So Nottingham Forest are a smart team, and I would expect them to take lessons from all the other teams that have gone to Craven Cottage and got points. So, yeah, it's. I'd say if you're going for Fulham on that one, it's got to be more in hope than expectation.
Interesting. Yeah, I think all of them will come with hope more than expectation. You're right, and there's a reason why the table bonus is there. It's because that 5 places is massive. If you're
obviously it's
5
not
places below someone,
it's
you're
not that
going
hard
to
to overcome. It is Nottingham Forest, so like there is still that part of you that, as a Fulham fan, you turn up that day,
yeah,
and you're like, it's Nottingham Forest, we can win this. Like
they were in the Championship a few years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Big man, have you even thought about transfers? Because in the last 2 hours, all I've been working out is chip strategy. I think game week 29 for me might now become free hit. And the reason I think that, if I'm using assistant manager, I'm using transfers on assistant managers, probably 2. I also want to target good players. My plan was not to use assistant manager, roll transfers, get to 29. And if we see teams like Newcastle and Palace and Liverpool blanking, then that was 7 players in my team. I could replace those 7 with free transfers. I'm not going to be able to now. So I think 29 might be a free hit for me. I'd target Man United, who have got Leicester. I'd target Man City, who have got Brighton. I can then keep my Newcastle players either side of that 29, but they've got some okay fixtures. Certainly Liverpool have got good fixtures either side of 29. I don't really want to sell those guys. And I therefore wouldn't be wildcarding in 30 if I was free hitting in 29. What's your take on that, big man? And have you thought about similar?
I think free hit in 29 could happen because now, the big effect this fixture scheduling has had is that it means that there are likely to be less doubles in Game Week 33. So perhaps the transition from Game Week 33 to 34 won't be as difficult as we had initially expected it to be. But for someone like you, for example, if you don't have enough free transfers to navigate 29, I think free hit in 29 could be more of an option than it was, let's say, a couple of hours ago. And it's something, depending on your team, I think it's something that a lot of people will consider. And I don't think it is out of the question as it was earlier. Coming to, the transfers that you asked about, I think I'm fairly set in mine. I moved early this week. I got Pickford in for Flecken. That's still a move I would have done. I sold Raul for NDI. I still think I would have done the transfer because I'm not assuming that Fulham will go through. And I'm not going to sell Isak this week. I'm not going to sell João Pedro either. So, yeah, I mean, not much has changed except for the chip strategy for me.
I will see your team in a minute and we'll go through. In fact, I feel like we should probably see your team now. Big man, knowing Jimenez could double and Everton don't score goals, would you really be making the Ndai move?
Yes,
I know you've made it
absolutely,
already.
because
I don't mind buying Everton players this game week, but Everton attackers I've always been cautious on. Everton attackers, selling someone that could double next week that's actually good in Jimenez?
Yeah, but I mean, there are 2 things that you need to take into account. Fulham might have a double. It's an outside chance. Everton definitely have a double. India will definitely start 2 games. Raul might or might not start both games.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. And even if, let's say, even if Fulham double, they will then blank in 29. And Dia has a guaranteed fixture at home to West Ham in 29. So I still think I would have made the transfer. I wouldn't have sold João Pedro because the 29 fixture. And obviously Isak has a good fixture this week, so I wouldn't have sold him either. So yeah, Raul and Dia, Flecken, Pickford are still fine transfers. Now looking at my team, I think because I'm so high on the idea of Arne Slot, because the reasons mentioned earlier, I would sell Van Dijk. Now I have triple Everton, so I'll probably go to a Villa defender because I'm expecting Villa to be the team that double alongside Liverpool in 25. And they have Ipswich at home as one of those fixtures. So I think I'll probably sell Virgil to someone like a Konsa. And that would help get me the 1.5 million spare that I need for Slot as well. I'll then have 2 free transfers next week, which I will probably use on loading up on Villa. So something like, let's say, I already have Rodgers. If I get Konsa this week, that's fine. So something like, let's say, Isak to Watkins can then happen next week because Isak's fixtures after this week are tough. So I think I will heavily load up on whichever team's double next week. And just given the team structure that I have, I am desperately hoping that it is Liverpool and Villa that double, because that would set me up very, very nicely for the weeks to come. However, if there was an upset, then I guess my team would be in a suboptimal position. But I think I've got to play the probabilities with just play what is in front of me.
It's a fair gamble. You're trusting Spurs to hold that 1-0 win on aggregate is the bookies don't think it will happen. Liverpool will play a first team surely.
Won't. Yeah, it probably won't.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Liverpool. They got Plymouth the game after that, Liverpool, so they can probably go full strength.
Yeah, look, it would be a huge surprise if Spurs managed to hold on to this lead based on what we've seen so far this season. As I said the other day, they can't hold a lead from half-time to full-time, let alone from one leg to the second leg. So, it's highly unlikely that Liverpool don't go into this game and score. And as soon as they score one, Tottenham have to then defend for their lives for the rest of the game. And you're then on the back foot, not only for 90 minutes, but then into the deciding late stages of a game as well. And as it heads into injury time and beyond. So it's extremely unlikely, I think, that Tottenham that they aren't too fragile. Like this is a side that is mentally fragile as well as physically fragile. They will pick up an injury over the course of that 90 minutes. It will probably be to a significant player, probably be to a defender. I'm sorry, but it's just the way their season's gone. And for Tottenham, this is the biggest game of the season. Like everything rest of it. They're not doing anything else this season, right?
They're not even going to qualify for Europe, are they, next? So it's all on
this
the
is
cup.
it.
Yeah.
Like this saves their season. Like if they win a cup, like it's everything to them. And so they've got to go and put everything on the line. Yet, because of the emotion that's attached to that, it almost gives me even more confidence that Liverpool just kind of stay even. This is the one thing that Arne Slot has managed to do since he came into the club. You're like, Jurgen Klopp had the rock and roll football and that was all good. But at the end of the day, it was sometimes to the detriment of them because they would get too emotional about the big moments and then they'd get caught out and caught up in the hype. And we haven't really seen that. Like, while I think that there are Klopp teams that are better than this team in a football sense, this team are very good at keeping a level head and managing games. And I think that is going to be hugely important. So, yeah, I'm trying to be like a voice of reason here because, like, yes, there is a potential for a Liverpool game week, but it's not a guarantee. But as Big Man says, you can always switch manager. But the likelihood of Tottenham being able to see out this tie is slim. It is very slim.
Big Man, so to confirm, your moves this week, you've got 2 free transfers with the team we can see. Van Dijk out to probably Konza, gambling that Villa will double and Liverpool will turn things around versus Spurs. Eze, have you seen?
Yeah, I was going to come to Eze. I have. I had a bit of a benching dilemma this week anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we've discussed João Pedro versus Rodgers to death over our previous 2 episodes. So I guess that's fine.
Makes it easier.
Eze can be benched this week. And I don't think, even had this news come out before the deadline, it wouldn't have changed much because there's not a double game week midfielder that I want this week anyway. I'm not going to buy someone like a Decore or anyone else, right? So, yeah, that doesn't really change much, but I guess Eze can be on my bench this week. And I've read the quote, actually. It sounds more like a precaution that he's not traveling because they want to ensure that he's pain-free for the upcoming fixtures. But irrespective of that, I think Eze, I think he's a sell for a lot of people who can afford to. For example, a lot of people are in this position where they can't really afford someone like an Arne Slot. I would sell Eze to someone like Rodgers to afford him. I think that's a very good transfer to make. But yeah, in my team, I'd just play Colwill over Konza, and I'd bench Eze for Rodgers.
Yeah,
and I think the rest of the team picks itself with the assistant manager chip. I've already deactivated the triple captaincy, so don't go on the screenshot. But apart from that, I'm hoping for some good points this week.
Nice, good stuff. Big Man Backer, by the way, guys, if you're just joining, he's former world number 4 in FPL. He finished the season at world number 4. Listen to the guy, absolutely listen to the guy. And he thinks Arne Slot is the standout FPL assistant manager to recruit. Guys, we do have a mini league code at the bottom of the screen. Ignore the code that came up on screen and go to the one on the strap at the very bottom. It's VERS7T. That's VERS7T. Join our mini league on Chasing Green Arrows. We're all in it. You can put yourselves against us. Big Man and Dean both have solid seasons. Go on, mate.
Yeah, I was going to say this announcement has actually it's brought a lot of chaos and it's brought a lot of variety in our strategy. So we can already see that all three of us actually in this show alone have different strategies. You know, Dean might not activate the chip at all. You might go with David Moyes. I'm probably going to go with Arne Slot, right? And I think after, let's say, 2 or 3 game weeks, we will have plenty of, let's say, hindsight merchants. A lot of people will say, oh, you didn't use it on Arne Slot. Liverpool are the best team in the league, etc. Yeah. It was stupid not to use it on him. You know, if Liverpool have a flaky couple of weeks, some will say, oh, the table bonus was in play. It was obvious to use it on David Moyes. Why didn't you use it on Arne Slot? So this is going to happen. I mean, be mentally prepared for it, guys. I think with these are the comments that we'll probably have to face in the next couple of weeks. But it's fun. I mean, that's why we play the game. This will be swingy, and generally, I think some of these swings could be season defining. They will be very, very swingy.
Yeah. We saw from last season, if it was used on Glasner in his double around 36 or whatever it was, he'd have got something like 65 points in that 3-game week window. The assistant manager chip comes with a ceiling of 65, 70 points. The other chips come nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Imagine getting 65 off Salah and captainer's got 130, and then triple captainer's got, what's that, 215 or something. Like, you're never going to see that, a 200-point plus. Like, you do not get these points off the other chips. This has to be central to your entire chip strategy, and a double-double is too good to miss. Guys, we haven't asked you, we're 33 minutes in. If you want to hit that like button, please do. But most importantly, we've got new eyes on the channel today because of the chaos in FPL. From the 495 people watching, I can see that 150 of you are not currently subscribed. And that's absolutely fine. We don't expect to convince everyone to subscribe. All I'm asking, if you like what you are hearing, if you like what you see in today's show, do hit that subscribe button and you'll know when we go live with the notification bell. You can watch all our videos and support the channel. It costs nothing and it really does help the channel out.
Yeah. Dean? I was going to say, just if you subscribe as well, you can obviously leave comments. I think we should leave like the last 15 minutes today, 4 questions. So if we get through my team and G's team in the next 10 minutes or so, then we can leave like a good chunk of the show to get through as many questions as we can to try and help you guys as much as we can. I'll probably leave it to G and Big Man. But yeah, let's do that. Mate, show my team because I'm going totally off piece.
We need more than 10 minutes for your team alone, though, from what I've just seen in the chat.
Mate, it's what's the point of me doing the same as everybody else? I haven't got the pressure that you two have got, have I? So my rank's around 500k, something like that. So look, I've already made my transfers. I've got Gakpo in, which was
your team looks great.
The clearest one. Pickford's come in, and I bought Cliver in as well, so I could open up the funds for Gakpo.
Nice.
And I've activated the bench boost. Now, nobody is going for a Bournemouth win over Liverpool, right?
What if if Iraola had 2 games, I'd be tempted to assistant manager him though.
So because I've got these 2 Bournemouth players, I'm like, do you know what? Like, I'm not doing the assistant managership. I haven't got the triple captainship. I might as well try something else. So why not? I don't like bench boost chip. I never get anything out of it. I always use it the wrong week. So I'm like, I might as well just use it. Like, because if Bournemouth somehow pull off a 1-0 win at home to Liverpool and Clivert scores it, I've suddenly done something that nobody else has done. And it's really my only way to change this. So like, the only way I could really be different is to do that. And potentially I could stick the armband on Gakpo, but I don't think I will do that. So, yeah, this is what I'm doing, mate. I don't know how I feel about watching the game, but this is what I'm doing.
The bench boost is massively backing one of the informed teams in the league to do a job on the best team in Europe. It's a tough one, but look, it's fun. You and I are both going to be backing for Liverpool upsets. I need Moyes and then hopefully Emery to cause an upset against Liverpool, or one of them to, and you need Iraola and co.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, this season, honestly, is just so weird. Maybe Liverpool do go to Bournemouth and get the routine win that everybody generally expects they will. But the one thing we have seen from Bournemouth is good game management, is that they can beat big teams. and that they've got. I think these two teams potentially have the best mindsets in the division. I think that that's probably the key to this. Like, there's not many people that can match Liverpool when it comes to togetherness and the ability to carry out a game plan over 90 minutes and even change it mid-game. And Bournemouth are one of the few teams that I think you could say that about.
Yeah.
And so I've been so impressed by this team that why not? They've just beaten Nottingham Forest 5-0, a team that everybody's really struggled to combat. They've done that. Beat Newcastle 4-1. Obviously got a draw with Chelsea. Obviously, what was the big? I went to Old Trafford and won. I know other people have done that too. But they've beaten Tottenham at home. They've beaten Manchester City at home. This team is scared of absolutely no one. And so, as I say, bench boost. I don't know when I'm going to use it. I never have a plan for this chip. So I might as well just throw it out there this week, just in case that comes together. At least it's something else for me to try and keep up with people when they use this assistant manager chip, mate.
Crazy. I like it. I like the fact we're all on different strategies. Why not? I like the fact you and I are going for a Liverpool upset. I must admit, like, if you had told me you're going to get double on a slot, would I go assistant manager? I would. It's just, I can't bank on Liverpool winning that football match to sell a Gakpo. And I love the fact you've brought Gakpo in this week. I don't think we need to discuss any other individual picks in your team. We're there. There's 550 of you watching. Let us know what you think to Dean's team. Dean embraces taking chances. Start the season with DCL and was rewarded, says CH. Absolutely bang on. Watch Dean outpace the assistant manager chip. Yeah. Love that very much. Fun. Liverpool Cherries a goal fest. Let's go, says Claudette. Guys, we'll want to keep the polls running as well. So if you've got any good poll ideas, CH, let us know in the chat. But we can do one right now. Are you triple captaining Mo Salah this week? Yes or no? This poll result on Monday or Wednesday, I can't remember, came out at over 50%. I bet it's now at 10 to 20%. You can still play the triple captain and use assistant manager next week, by the way. That is a play. It's not a play I like, but it's a play you could go with. That is still a legit option for some. Big man, before we see my team, do you like that play? Triple captain this week, assistant manager next? I know you don't like it because you wouldn't do it, but do you think it's do you hate it?
I just like using the system manager chip on a double-double, which is why I dislike it.
Yeah. It's just not the optimal. Yeah.
Yeah, but end of the day, I might only miss out on one game, a manager for one game. Like, I can activate that next week and still get a double from someone else. Like, it's not that big a deal.
That is significant. When you compare it over the course of the season, that one.
Well, if you get it wrong, it's not. Not if the manager doesn't pay off.
I guess if you're using it on the best team in the league, then it's more likely than not. And at the moment, we're only playing probabilities.
100%, yeah. Of course, if it pays off, but it's football. Like, you have no idea. None of us have any idea how these games end up. So it's at the end of the day, like, of course, like, this logically is the best time to use it. I'm not going to argue with that. But I'm just not that fussed about missing out on it right now. Because there's always as well that chance that if this doesn't go well for people and you've got it in your back pocket, that's going to be a good feeling. So I don't want everyone to feel under pressure. They have to now force this to happen and their season's dead, because I don't believe it will be.
Oh no, I just started my video before this one on my own channel with, guys, it's double game week 25. You have to use the assistant manager 24 and 20. I'm literally forcing it down people's throats. But you're right, Dean. We should all play our own game at any given opportunity to. Like, it's a way more fun game when you back your own instincts and you back your gut. And, if Dean has success with bench boost, it's so much more fun him doing that by not being a sheep and not listening to his favorite content creator. So you guys, we're here to give you advice, but still make your own decisions, use what we say and let it contribute towards your opinion, but don't let it completely dictate it. And 20% of you are still triple captaining Mo Salah. Fair play. All right, let's move on. My team, we want time for questions, but also you're here to see team selections, and that's what people click. So we're going to give at least 10 minutes for 5 to 10 for my team, because I genuinely don't know what I'm doing, and I want both Dean's, big man's, and you guys in the chat. I want your opinions. I know I'm hitting the assistant manager chip. We'll show my team in just a sec, or we'll put it on screen now. I know I'm going Moyes. Well, I think I'm going Moyes. I know I'm using the chip. it's very likely Moyes. CH, it can't be 3 minutes. I know questions are great, but the vast majority are here to see our 3 teams. I promise you that. Big man, where do I go? I was going to go Pickford in, Visser in. I can't do those 2 moves now. Well, I can. It leaves me with, I think, 0.8, which is perfect money for Moyes and then Silva, I think. We've got my team coming on. It'll be... Mark, we know you're not here to see our 3 teams, but I promise you the vast majority are. I see the clicks. Don't know where our team is, so maybe we'll do questions.
I don't rate your team, mate, if that's what you're putting out this
until my
week.
team's ready.
The producer's power might have gone again or something. I don't know.
Let's do questions.
Yeah, we can show yours in a bit. Peter says we're only here to see Dean's team. Yeah, exactly. That's where we'll leave that for now. Phil James says, I'm here to see Dean wind everybody up. I'm not going to wind up. I just play the game different. Like, I'm just allowed to have more fun on this show than these 2 are because they've got reputations in it. I don't. It's like if they were to throw out transfer news and just make it up. I can't do that. But there we go. Should we start getting through some questions? Should we start getting those up? Thanks to everyone that is throwing them up. The chat is very busy. We're at 600 watching live at the moment as well. So thanks for everybody that is jumping on. We really appreciate it. And if you do get the chance to subscribe, we would really appreciate it as we head to 10K. Tom says, I guarantee people would rather questions. Okay, we're going to do questions now.
I'm seeing that from CH and Mark. Guys, I promise you, look, if we poll it, it won't be a fair response. If we poll it, people will go, I want questions because they want their question answered. People do not care what Hayley in accounts does with her first sub. And that's what 90% of the questions are. Shall I bench Visser or Xiao? Like, most of those questions do not relate to your teams. If the questions were 100% mass, do I assistant manager or triple captain this week? Fine, but they're not. They're too niche, which is why we can't do a whole show of questions. Sorry. You're selfish. You're selfish questions.
Here's a question. Sean says, how are you lot live at 2 p.m? Don't you have day jobs? Ain't 2 p.m. for me, mate. It's 6:43 a.m. where I am. Big man, what time is it where you are?
It's 7:45.
7:45 p.m. for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Alien accounts is bench boosting. Middle afternoon. Big man, do you have a day job? Never asked you that.
Full-time content creator for the past 2 years.
For 2 years, yeah.
Yeah. I am a chartered accountant by profession, but I don't practice.
Oh, mate, I should have got you to do my taxes. They're due today. I ain't done them yet.
I should have known you were a numbers man, big man.
I would have guessed that all day long.
I would have so guessed accountant.
It's easy to guess. It's an easy to guess.
Honestly, if I just saw your FPL team and your transfers each week, I would say by game week 4, accountant. The penalties, the bookies are like, it's all there for you, which is a compliment, by the way. You're world number 4 for God's sake.
Thank you.
Oh dear. Right, let's get into the questions, guys. Let's start with, I'm going to go down to the bottom up. I don't know if they're coming up on the screen at the moment, but Nabadeep says, I have Trent, Salah and Gakpo. If I assistant manager, whom do I sell for Slot or should I go for Moyes? I only have Mikalenko. That's a good one to start off with.
Big man, Gakpo, get rid of, would you?
It's an interesting question. It depends on the number of free transfers, I think. Let's say if you don't have any free transfers,
hang on, you're on the wrong question. We'll go back to the question just so people can see it.
Yeah, or should I go Moyes? I have only Mikalenko. Now, this depends on the number of free transfers you have. So, for example, if he has more than one free transfer or just one free transfer, I think you can get Slot in, and I would sell Gakpo to NDI probably to facilitate Slot. If you don't have any free transfers, then I guess you can go for David Moyes.
Nice. Good stuff. We'll ask as many mass market questions as we can, just like that. Sean, this one's for you, Dean.
Would you sell Alisson to Kepa for a hit to play assistant manager on Slot, or hold Alisson and play assistant manager on Moyes? I mean, I'd probably just hold Alisson and play it on Moyes. That's what I think I would do in that situation. I don't see enough upside on the other one.
With 0.0 funds and one free transfer, surely playing the triple captain this week is still the only viable option. Key point here, assistant managership, when you use it, that's not a transfer. You automatically, if you've got funds in your account, money in the bank, I know you've got 0.0 funds, but you can, you'd have to take a 4-point hit. You would. But if you had funds in the bank, that isn't a transfer. It's only a transfer between weeks when the assistant manager is up. I still would take a 4-point hit, Iggy, and use the assistant manager chip, to be fair.
Interesting.
I have 3 Liverpool assets. This one's for you, big man. Gakpo to Ndai is just one you like.
I don't think I would do a -8 for that. I just think that's too big of a hit to take. I like that transfer for let's say free, if not for hits.
I don't think Sydney knows that. I reckon that's a -4.
I would consider for -4. I mean, a lot of people are confusing the fact that not in the first week, exactly. So if you activate the chip, you just have you don't have to use the free transfer to activate the chip. Would you take a hit to get slot? This is the tough question, Gianni. I don't think I would. I do think he's clear of Moyes, but I don't think it's probably worth a hit.
I don't think I would. But if I had Konate or Van Dijk, I would consider it. I do think the combination of Trent, Salah, Gakpo, I think you just stick with that 3 Liverpool. I really do. But I do get it. If you're like big man, you've got a second Liverpool defender, then of course slot is front of mind.
Do you think, I've got a quick question. Like, obviously, like everyone that's tuning into this show is like bought into the FPL community, and there'll be thousands of people watching other shows across the next day as well before they back their picks and stuff. But like, obviously, like a huge section of this game still remains like the casuals that we see in our other mini leagues that are our mates. And do you think any of those have any awareness of what this assistant manager chip is and that they should be playing it this week? And how does that actually change the strength of this chip for right now?
Big man, I think we saw 500,000 activate the chip a couple of days by yesterday or the day before. That might go to 1 million now, which is 1 in 10 players. I mean, they won't know about double game week 25 though, and they're going to get lucky. They're going to get lucky because they'll realise that double 25 is a double.
I think a lot of people with the with the advent of social media and the way FPL has grown in popularity in social media, a lot of people will be more plugged in than usual. But it's just that this fixture announcement has come like literally 24 hours before the deadline, so that might actually catch a few people by surprise, and they might not be aware. So we might see a lot of people, let's say, triple captaining instead of using the chip assistant manager. But yeah, I hear you. I think it's a very legit question that you raise. But let's say if this was 2-3 years ago when content creators weren't really a thing, then I think we would have. Yeah, I mean, we would have gained a lot.
Oh, mate. Go back to accounts. Mate, I tell you what loads will do. Loads will see the announcement and they will realise they've not got enough money in the bank to get slot, and they will settle for Moyes.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Yeah.
Who's this one for?
I think it was me. I want to sell Gakpo for slot, but surely not in the eye. He seems a transfer after the double. I have Vissa and Isak too. Who would you bring in if not Ndai? Well, this is quite complicated.
I love Vissa. I think Vissa's a great shout. I think Brentford are flying. They create big chances.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially in a week like this, like Vissa will start to be overlooked as somebody to have in your team, and they're obviously playing against a Tottenham side that have a new injury in Dragerson, have mental problems, as I've talked about, have their biggest game of the season on the horizon. This is one of the game weeks where I think like an Mbermo Vissa double, for example, could really pay off. So yeah, I think that's definitely one to have, but I don't know really about alternatives to Ndai because I've never had Ndai in my plans. That's probably one big fan.
Can you talk about the cap on total team points if you play a system manager on Moyes and own triple Liverpool? I don't get the question, Gianni.
I don't read questions. You know me. I can't do more than a line. Yeah. Triple Villa now set up to do that one.
I think. Gianni, take it. That's fine.
Triple Villa. I mean, no, we don't know they're doubling. There's 20. I think Liverpool Spurs is a really hard game to read.
Let's say hypothetically, if Villa progress, would you triple up on Villa? I think that's a better way of answering the question. I think I 100% would. I would target that.
Watkins is going to be in every team.
Isak to Watkins will be very popular. Rogers is fairly popular in a lot of teams. A lot of people who have a Palace mid, for example, will move to Rogers. A lot of people with Liverpool assets or Everton defenders in their team, they will swap to a Villa defender. I think triple Villa will be popular next week. Johnny, this one's for you.
Rohit, I know you need to use a 4-point hit to get to the assistant manager budget, but selling a player with a double game week in Alisson to get another one with a double isn't worth it. There will be another position in your 15 where you can sell a player to a double game weeker for that -4. Even if that means you're selling, I don't know, Eze to Decore. Do it. Don't sell a double game weeker on a 4-point hit in Alisson. But yes, Moyes assistant manager, I'm a big fan of, as you know.
Can I ask a quick question of Big Man here, the accountant, because he's good with numbers? What is the max? Say this goes perfectly for Slot as manager. What is your maximum points that you would gain?
A win is 8 points minimum.
It's hard to read. It depends on what results. I mean, I'm expecting and hoping to gain close to 50 points total.
50 points from that chip over the 3 weeks.
You can't get that on Slot unless you're getting 4-0 wins every week.
I mean, I will probably use it on a manager who has a table bonus fixture available in 26, so it won't stay on Slot for 2 weeks, right? It also in game week 26, I will probably punt. I don't think I'd play safe in 26.
Yeah,
so that's why I think exactly he's got City. So maybe maybe like 50 is probably too much. I mean, a more realistic expectation would be 35.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Like, what is the big advantage that what am I going to lose out on, basically? How many points am I going to be down for not playing this chip? And
it's a great question, Dean, and that longer one may have alluded to that same question.
Yeah, I think it might have. Yeah.
But Dean, you don't have to be resigned to being down as such, because you will get the opportunity to play it later.
No, I mean, but that's how you look at a game week, isn't it? Like, suddenly I'll be looking.
That's fine. I completely understand where.
Yeah, like over 100, and suddenly you're like,
we'll take Eddie's question off screen just when we discuss this one, because Dean, I want to go back to that, because the ceiling, everyone needs to know what that might be. And let's say it's 6 for a win for Slot, but remember, every win comes with either goals scored and a combination of goals scored and clean sheets. So let's say the worst case scenario is you win a game 2-1, you've got an extra 2 points for goals there, so it's 8 points. You don't get the clean sheet, but remember, you could win 3-0, and then you're looking at 9, 10, 11. A 3-0 win is 11 points. I think that's quick maths in my head. Let's just say, because you get 2 for a clean sheet and 3 for a goal. So that's an extra 5 points on the 6. So that would be 11 points for a Slot 3-0 win. There's 5 fixtures. Let's say your team, whether it's Slot or not, wins 4 of them. That might be seen as best case scenario. Let's not say 5. Let's say 4. Let's say on average they're 2-0 wins, and there's 4 of them. Again, that's probably ambitious. Probably not, because some of them might be 4-1. So a 2-0 win comes with 10 points. Times that by 4, 40. If you go for a manager like Slot and things go well, you're probably looking at 40. As Big Man said, sort of 50 moved down to 35. I reckon it's about 40.
Yeah.
If you go for a Moyes, and let's assume you lose 2 of them. No, let's say you lose 3 and you get 1 draw and 1 victory. I don't even know how to play Moyes, because I can't tell you what the probable odds are, because I can say with Slot, he wins around 4 in every 5 of his games. With Moyes, it's hard to know. It's a small sample size to date, and the table bonus influences stuff so much. But let's say you get table bonus once. You get 1 big upset. That's not 16. That's a minimum of 18, because, again, the goals and the clean sheet, but could be more like a 19, 20. So if you get that, you're halfway there from 1 fixture of the 5.
Yeah.
I like the chasing of bonus.
And my other question is there any advantage to having Salah triple captain over Slot assistant manager even if Liverpool do well over those games? Because obviously Slot's getting points for every Liverpool goal.
Yeah.
Is there any hope for someone who's already was set on the captain of Salah and they're like, I don't really want to use it? I saw someone mention it a second ago.
Yeah, Dean, it's hard to sort of imagine a situation where Salah does extremely well and Slot doesn't.
Yeah.
Because those two things are complementary, right?
Yeah.
Directly sort of proportional. If Slot does well,
can Salah outscore Slot? Is it?
Yeah.
In terms of the advantage gained over other people, I presume you can't really.
I think a better way of comparing the triple captaincy chip this week would be to probably compare it with the use of it later. So I think a lot of people might use the triple captaincy later on Isak, for example, in game week 33. There will be options later on in the season. They might not be as good as this week, but I think the logic of going against triple captaincy this week is not because Salah is not the best triple captain. It's just that because now with the double, a lot of people presume that the system manager chip will be better off right now as compared to later.
Got ya.
Mention 33 again, big man, because Isak double then is quite likely, right? Because Newcastle should reach the EFL Cup final. They're the only combination in these fixtures of the 29 blanks that haven't moved to 25. The Newcastle fixture is likely to move to 33, which would be a double versus Aston Villa, and
it was an easy one as well. Let me check.
It was a good one, and Villa away, I think.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Isak's
anyway,
fine. So... That's a perfectly good triple captain.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a lot depends on how blanks and doubles
Palace
pan out to be.
Amateur. So you get Isak versus Palace and Villa. Not bad at all for those with triple captain. Like, I don't mind that at all. And that 33 could be a smaller double game week too. Yeah, guys, I feel like we should still do my team. Should we do it? Because I don't know what I'm doing, and I want your help. I want the chat's help.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, let's do my team. Even though I think we've got it. Oh, no, we have got it. I was going to say we can do it without a graphic, but is that my team?
Okay. So how many frees do you have? Yes, this is yours, Gianni, no?
Yeah. God, that is mine. I've seen so many variations of my team this week because I've been playing around with it. I in my head locked in with 2 free transfers, 1.8 million in the bank. I'd locked in Pickford and I'd locked in Visser for João Pedro, and it left me with like 0.8 in the bank. I don't think I end up doing those moves because I'm going to need free transfers to navigate assistant managers. But also I need to work out if I'm committing to free hit 29. If I'm committing to free hit 29, I can have the luxury of transfers this week on players like Visser and Pickford. If I'm not free hitting in 29, I probably need to start accumulating some transfers, knowing I'll be spending them on assistant managers. Dean, what's your take first and foremost? And then big man, I want a deep dive from you. We might run a couple of minutes over.
Yeah, fine. I mean, I think you've kind of lucked out on not transferring in Pickford. I mean, I have transferred in Pickford already, and if I hadn't have played the chip, I would have left that one either hanging over or to use elsewhere for this week. So I think that is a decent call. I don't think you need Pickford now. So that's kind of saved you. I don't really have any issues with your team. I think Mikalenko's a strong Everton pick to still have. I think it's strong. So what, in terms of your chip strategy, what do you now do with this? You go...
I probably have the luxury of making moves I want to make, like players like Visser for João Pedro. I think it's a big upgrade. Yeah, possibly a pick for sales still, but I don't know.
I think Visser for João Pedro would be. Yeah, I think that'd be a really strong one, especially as you haven't gotten Burmo.
I know, and he's the player I really want. The other option is Bruno out to Mbermo, because Bruno played deep.
How many frees, Gianni? Just one?
Two.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
2.
So I think.
If I do go Visser and Pickford in, by the way, in terms of money left in the bank, it only leaves me with 0.6. So I have enough for Moyes, but then I don't have enough to make a manager switch next week to say a Silva and Emery, who I think are 0.8 and 1.3.
Yeah.
I think I know what I'd do looking at this team. I think I'd get Slot in. I'd sell Gakpo to India.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
That's what I would do, but I don't think you would, so it's fine.
You would sell Gakpo on a potential double. He could be as good as Slot. He's just hit 16 points in one game.
I mean, the thing is that you won't get the opportunity to use a assistant manager on a double later, so that has to be the priority. Gakpo is nice, but you have to realize that you won't get this opportunity later, and it is more powerful than owning just one double game week player.
Yeah. It comes down to how big a chance do I see Moyes or Emery, let's assume it's Villa and Liverpool at double or not, Emery or Silva getting a big upset win. I think Silva can beat Forest, and I think Emery can get a draw versus Liverpool at Villa Park.
Yeah.
And that makes me want to just why not go Moyes then? Because I should get a win against Leicester. I have a chance of a draw against Liverpool.
Mhm.
And it saves me less money. I can't, and I think Gakpo could still bang big. I think Gakpo plays, if Liverpool double, I think he still gets 4 starts.
Yeah, and you've got to be reasonably like tempered with like how bold you are here. Like I think getting rid of Gakpo and having Moyes as manager could really backfire. And I don't think you want to be risking too much in that sense. So yeah, I quite like it, mate, to be honest. I think it makes sense for you.
I'm going to be up all night planning my free hit 29 or not free hit 29. Big man, question to you. The doubles that take place in 36, I've not looked this deep in yet. Am I right in thinking if you blank in 34, there's a good chance you double in 36, i.e. we need the free hit for 34? Is that the case, or are we just too early to say?
I think it's a bit too early to say. I think the free hit could potentially be used in 29. Currently, I think with the information we've gotten, it's imperative to plan for 24 and for 25. And then once we get more clarity on the EFL Cup results, then we can decide when the best time to free hit is or not. I don't think it should come into consideration this early, personally.
It has to if I want to make luxury transfers like Sells out to Pickford and João Pedro out to Vissa, which I still want to do.
And that's your prerogative. I mean, that depends on what you're thinking. I just think that Pedro de Vissa is unnecessary, personally.
I just need a bit of, like Dean says, with Noah Burmo, I need a slice of that Brentford attack. And
they're going to beat Tottenham. They're going to beat Tottenham.
They're going to score goals as well, aren't they? It's not a 1-goal win, that.
It's not. You obviously can't trust this Tottenham team at the moment, and that is just a game that I just can't see them winning. And Brentford definitely have the tools to exploit what Tottenham don't have available to them. So I think that personally that's a good pick. I've got a bit of a dilemma in my head going on right now. Like, I was just thinking about like watching the games tomorrow. Obviously, like Bournemouth Liverpool is going to be the one that everyone looks to watch. And I'm like, okay, so I've got 3 Liverpool assets in here. Salah's going to be captain, I imagine. But what possible good can come of like my Liverpool players? Like, what upside am I going to get out of a Liverpool defender, Gakpo in a double, and Salah as captain? Like, I'm suddenly like this, unless I'm like, all I'm doing is trying to keep up with people, right? Like, I'm just going to lose points, surely, with every Liverpool goal that goes in.
Yes, you will, because of the chips that are active.
Yeah.
Basically,
so I don't know what to do about that.
All you just have to hope that that Gakpo scores like 5 unassisted goals, and then Liverpool lose all games in the double.
Brilliant. That'll happen.
Guys, that's been loads of fun. We all post our teams on Instagram before the deadline. I'll be doing a deadline stream on my channel in the morning if you want to come by. I still can't 100% commit to a strategy yet, but I feel like we've gone some way into getting some clarity on the situation. If you are just joining, there's nearly 700 of you watching, and from that 700, 284 of you, which is like a third, aren't subscribed. We would love you to hit that button. Like, I'm not asking you all to do it, but if 50 of you do it, that'd be amazing, because Chasing Green Arrows has been desperate to get to 10,000 subs for a long time, and this is a great opportunity for us to do so. If you've enjoyed the stream, show us by hitting the subscribe button. Any final thoughts, guys? Are we good?
No, I think I'm good, mate. Thanks for solving all of those problems. Completely clear in my mind as to how I'm going to do this week.
Big man, I'm glad you've been calm and collected throughout. You know what you're doing. You've got your strategy in place. And make sure you're on Big Man's Twitter for the next 24 hours, guys. He'll be sharing loads of wisdom. No doubt an updated thread as well.
That's coming. You're right. You know me so well.
Go. What time can we expect that? Tonight or tomorrow morning?
Probably in a couple of hours.
There we go. You heard it yourself. The chartered accountant has got his thread at the ready. Follow him on Twitter. Guys, as always, thank you very much. We'll be back on Tuesday next week, I think, because there's a Monday night football and it's Chelsea. And then it might be a little break because there's like 10 days of no FPL. So, yeah, we'll see you soon. Hit the notification bell. You know when we're going live, but it will likely be Tuesday at 7. I don't know. We'll discuss that and let you know. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.